Okay, at this point we need to lie the machine on its back, safely and carefully, remembering it's very heavy. Okay, once the machine is laid on its back, you need to wind your handle clockwise and take the saddle back as far as possible to get this other brass nut as far down the lead screw as possible. We're now going to remove the handle and the two bolts securing the lead screw. I'm going to do that now. To accomplish the removal of the handle and the two bolts, you need a 14mm spanner to undo the two nuts. To undo these two socket head cap screws, you need a 5mm Allen key. Now going to remove those. Having removed those, put them safely to one side on a towel, etc. Your two bolts, your washer and your two nuts. You need to then replace the handle, remembering to line it up with the keyway on the shaft. Okay. Once that's remounted, you're going to continue to turn that clockwise, and your lead screw or threaded bar will then unscrew out of the brass nut, which is securing the saddle. So at this point it might be an idea to put one hand on the saddle and carry on winding off with the other hand. I'm now going to do that. I found that the saddle mount is quite safe. It hasn't moved. What I found the easiest way to unscrew it is at first I was doing it like that. Then as I got towards the end of the thread, I then held this part in my left hand and continued to wind with the right hand. That is now separated, but this protective plastic is attached to there. So what we've got to do is underneath there you've got a posi screw, another posi screw the other side. So we're going to have to release those from the side of the saddle. Then we can take all this away then. I'm going to do that now. Okay, I've removed those now. And as you see, the whole unit can be removed, and has been removed. Put all the little nuts and bolts and various things in the handle to keep them safe. So that's how that releases. Okay, now using a 5mm Allen screw, we're going to take out that cap head screw. That is securing the brass nut which was on the lead screw to take that axis backwards and forwards, because that's not going to be used, because as you can see we have one already assembled on the y-axis on the new lead screw. So we're going to remove that now. We're going to replace it with this one. We're going to pop this through. We're going to lock that up into the block. Okay, I'm going to do all that now. Okay, there's no need to remove the Allen screw all the way, only just a few turnings. We'll then release the brass nut. We're not going to be using that, but we'll put that to the side anyway. Okay, we're now going to look into fitting the new lead screw with its mounting block. So first of all, we're going to bring that up through the hole. Okay. What I'm now going to need to do, I'm going to need to use both hands. I'm going to have to bring the saddle up a bit so that I can push my block into it. Once I push my block into it, I'm then going to temporarily tighten the Allen screw which we just released, because that will probably need carefully setting once we've actually got the table back up the correct way again. Now going to look into that. Okay, forgetting this axis is still locked off with the gib screws. There's no need for us to undo those. What I've just actually done is I've just wound the block or the new bolt down the shaft a bit, and that the nuke fitting with the bearings in just fits in there just nicely. I'm going to centre that up best I can. Then going to tighten that back up, and then going to mount the motor assembly and its various mounting parts. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so far so good. I've taken out the outer bearing, mounted it on the shaft there. Thought that would be easier. Now I'm going to pick this motor and mounting up. Going to drop that in. Okay, we're looking good. Now going to put the two bolts in there, which were used on the original handle. Wrong axis. Yeah, correct, that's it. Which we used on the original handle. I'm going to put those in there now. I'm going to tighten that up. But before tightening that up, I need to drop in the other bearing and the other half of the Lovejoy fitting. Okay, on further examination, before fitting the other part of the Lovejoy connection, you need to drop that little bolt in, then the Lovejoy connection, the other part of the Lovejoy connection, then we'll tighten all that up and we'll get those two bolts mounted in there. All the parts are fitting in there quite snugly. I've got to tighten that nut down onto the threaded part of the end of the shaft. Also, as I'm doing so, that bearing's got to sit back into the hole underneath. Once that's then screwed down, we'll then need to tighten up the 3mm Allen screw, grub screw, on that end of the Lovejoy fitting. Now going to do those. Once those things are done, then need to insert the two bolts which actually lock the mounting down onto the side of the bottom block of the milling machine. Going to do all that now. Okay, I've just found it easier to backtrack a bit. I've just removed the part with the motor and the top part of the mount, which will slot back in and key back into the spider of the Lovejoy connector. And I've tightened these up using a 5mm Allen key. Okay, it's just much easier that way. We're then going to find out where that's going to lie, and once we've got that lined nicely, we're going to lock it off there. We're not going to do that though until the machine's back the correct way up. Okay. Just going to lift away the Lovejoy connector and tighten up this nut. Not quite sure what tool to use on that, to be honest, but I found that a 14mm spanner will fit into the two grooves on it, so I'm going to be using that. If not, I guess a set of mole grips or some kind of special tool.